Rogers.
Right when you were calling me, I'm in the middle of filling out my Comcast internet service provider application.
Nice.
Because this was the last straw. I'm done. I'm done with them.
Yay.
Yay.
Free.
All right.
Forever. I'm severing the tie.
So I believe we had gotten as far as partway through your first question.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
You were talking about the Plants vs. Zombies Magic the Gathering card.
Oh, right, yeah. So Wizards of the Coast, they sent us over a box that had not just the card that they made in honor of our game, but they also sent us a whole bunch of the new expansion cards.
Oh, cool.
So that was awesome. There's a ton of Magic fans at PopCap. In fact, there's 2 tournaments going on right now. There's like an experienced Magic players tourney and then kind of a newbie tourney going on.
Oh, wow.
I'm in neither, but big fans at PopCap. So we were thrilled to get that homage from them.
Awesome.
And the same thing goes for in World of Warcraft. If folks saw that, the Blizzard guys did a little PvZ kind of. Let's see, what area was it in? It was in. Across the water, or one of the northern continents. I'm sorry.
Oh, right, Northrend?
I played WoW.
Northrend?
There you go. So in Northrend, they had a little setup where zombies were attacking plants, and they didn't actually contact us ahead of time, and we did not care. We were just so thrilled to be in World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
People were asking us if well, did your lawyers get on them for that? And we were like, why would we do that? Why?
Yeah.
It was like an honor.
Did you hear or did you read the story from Mark Rosewater's article about designing that card and how it almost didn't happen? Well, because he wanted to do a Plants vs. Zombies card, and the card ended up, just for those watching, if you're not familiar, that card ended up being called Grave Bramble, which is a plant with protection from zombies. Now, when the people are designing the cards, they use placeholder names, and so the placeholder name that he used was the Tall Nut.
You're right.
So he's just, because that's it's because the card is a wall, basically, and so it's a wall that stops zombies. But then when it went from the R&D to the development portion of Wizards, they were like, oh, well, it's a tall nut, so it should have reach, so it can block flying creatures. So they gave it reach as well. And then they were like, but we don't want to have 2 abilities on a card that's only supposed to be a common, so we'll take the protection from zombies away.
No.
Because we want to maintain the integrity of this tall plant that you're trying to do. And Mark Rosewater was like, no, that was the whole point, was the Plants vs. Zombies thing.
That's pretty funny.
Yes.
It was really all those things are really an honor to PopCap. By the way, did you guys know what? Do any of you know what Plants vs. Zombies' original name was before we released it?
No, we don't.
It was Lawn of the Dead.
That is so good. That's so good.
Amazing.
And we actually ran into trouble with Romero.
Oh yeah.
Or I don't know if it was Romero or whoever owns that property now.
Right.
I shouldn't say Romero. I don't know. But yeah, but that was sort of the runner-up name. But everybody likes it now. But at the time, it was kind of a bummer to PopCap.
I bet. Sorry, there's all these questions here.
No worries. I'm trying to calm down from my AT&T wrath.
Why is the Zen Ball so overpowered?
What the?
That's so funny. That's coming up a lot now. I think that's they must be talking about the iPad, iPhone version. I think.
I guess.
Because that's where we're hearing it. I don't know. I think we will nerf it. It's a mistake. It happens. That's the reason. Because we hate you is the other reason.
That's fair.
PopCap hates you personally.
Oh.
That's our new company logo. Motto.
We hate you.
But
We hate you.
Here's Bejeweled.
But I keep buying your stuff. Actually,
Buy our games.
that explains Bejeweled a lot, because
Yeah.
only if you hated me would you do that.
Wait,
Yeah.
true story.
It's a great ad campaign.
True story.
Yeah.
Bejeweled Blitz on the iPhone. For
Yeah.
a while, I have a problem with any kind of like puzzle or game like that, and for a while I played it so much that I gave myself a repetitive strain injury in my right wrist. And I went to my doctor and I was like, my wrist hurts. And she's like, stop doing that then. She's very nonsense. She's very
It
no
hurts
nonsense.
when I do this, doctor.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, when I was in on the magazine, am I still with you guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I don't want to have to get mad again. I'm high. When I worked for the magazine and I wrote about PopCap games at one point, I really felt at the time, because I was getting super addicted to Bookworm at the time and Peggle, that these 1 minute games, these short games, are really like kind of more insidious even than like an MMO or a game like Skyrim, just because that 1 more minute thing that it's just a minute is so evil, because evil in a good way.
Yeah.
I can fit another round in before the light turns green.
Right.
That is now illegal in British Columbia.
It's just so easy to just say, well, I'll just play one more, and then by the time you know it, it's like 2 hours and your hand hurts. So, I do have a piece of advice to you for if you are playing Bejeweled Blitz, whether it's on Facebook or iPhone, and that's never befriend anyone from PopCap, because...
Oh, then you'll just cry forever.
Yeah, now that I work there and all these guys are my friends on Facebook, I'm like number 50 on the leaderboard. Like, they're just too good.
I add Loading Ready Run fans that add me, and so there's two or three people that every week I'm just yelling at my phone, just how do you do this?
Yeah, there's a couple folks who routinely get 900,000, a million every week in Bejeweled Blitz. You know, I've peaked at like 400.
That's just wrong.
Wow.
Speaking
I'm
of,
just say goodbye because I'm on my way to.
We're gonna go see Twilight.
Oh, yay!
sorry,
You look
I've
so
missed the
enthused.
entire Twilight thing.
Count yourself lucky.
Movies. I'm so out of the loop.
smart.
They're horrible.
Say
It's
that
okay.
with-
No,
Stay out
yeah.
of the loop.
Yeah.
He's not
Do
doing
not-
it by choice.
Do not enter the loop.
Yeah.
We're doing it as a form of torture to the kids.
Okay. You should live tweet it or something.
Bye,
I've
guys.
done
Yeah.
that.
We forced him to see the first one
Skype
like
in from the theater.
multiple times.
All right.
All right.
I think I am going to read Hunger Games, though. That one seems...
Okay, so I'm only asking this question because we've asked it to basically every guest call-in so far. What is your stance on erotic Star Trek fan fiction?
Oh man!
I knew this was coming because I was watching you guys.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Nice. You're well
And
prepared.
I wasn't sure how to confess that I'm just not a Star Trek guy. So
That's cool.
as far as I'm concerned, they can all get naked and all
Well, there you go.
they can all do what they want with each other.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a Doctor Who fan, and
Right.
there I might have something more to say. But with Star Trek, I don't care. They could just have one big gold, orgy.
So you're
Alright.
extremely positive for Star Trek / fan fiction.
I think they should all just get it on all day long with each other,
Okay.
and then kill each other.
That would be a sweet episode.
Yeah, I'd watch that one.
Yeah.
That one I'd watch.
Um,
I'm sorry, that wasn't.
dear, no. I'm just looking at the next question here. Dear Dr. Evil Genius, has the master plan succeeded now that all the grandmothers on the planet are under the direct control of the casual orbital laser beam of assimilation?
No.
How do you answer that?
Yes, and they're coming
Okay.
for you.
Excellent.
All right.
We shall warn them. I don't. Then they have a question about Half-Life Episode 3, which I don't think
You
is.
You know,
I
do
don't
with
think that's.
Half-Life 3?
I don't think that's your purview, is
Yeah.
it?
well, not anymore. When I worked at Computer Gaming World, I think we actually had that. We had that on the cover at one issue because right after Episode 2, that was around the time that Valve was talking about how they were going to keep pumping out these episodes.
Right.
And it was going to be on a very regular basis. And I think our cover line at the time was something like, would you believe a new Half-Life every 3 months? And it turned out, of course,
Nope.
we shouldn't have.
No.
Valve time.
Still love them. Still,
Yeah.
Gabe Newell, one of the great geniuses and good guys of the entire gaming industry. He's an amazing guy. And so anything he does is okay
Oh,
with
it's always
me.
good.
Do you have a favorite plant in Plants vs. Zombies?
Oh, God. I'm a big fan of the stuff that will just save your ass at the last second. I really like the chompers. those guys.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And also the red peppers are some of my favorites. Not really though. I think the key to that game is you got to use them all, and you got to know when to use them all. Right? You got to know when is the right time for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like to play favorites.
What's your least favorite? Because I never like the corn cob cannons. They're too slow.
Well, they are slow, but you're kind of stuck with them, right, on those first few levels where they show up. Like that's all you have. I know that there's some that I never use. I never use the potato mines.
Yeah, I rarely use them.
But we did actually talk about we're looking at swag for the next packs, and we were talking about getting potato mine hats. So it would be like
that's
kind of
perfect.
like a yarmulke on top, but then like a red a red glowy thing, like LED light. What do you guys think of that?
Awesome.
You with that?
Yeah, I'm completely behind that.
Vote.
And then our Jewish fans could just wear those to temple later.
That's right. I'm sure
They'll
that's
be the coolest guys at synagogue.
Yeah, I'm sure that's legit. Someone said I had to make sure it existed first, and so I assume it does. What are your thoughts on PopCap game fan fiction? Not erotic, just fan fiction. Oh, by the way, the chat is all saying, well, what's mostly one person a lot, but the chat in general agrees that yes, that hat should exist.
Okay, I will pass it along. We were looking into it. Is there well, I know there's PopCap fan fiction. There's actually a lot of fiction within the company. In fact, one of the first things I learned when I started at PopCap is there actually is a backstory to Bejeweled. Believe it or not.
What?
Yes, I know.
This is my $5 fact from you. What's the backstory for
it's really true because right around the time I started and I was going to take over a lot of the social channels, and I was looking into the idea of creating Twitter accounts for different characters or whatever, and I made a joke about, well, I can make one for Red Gem or something. And Jason Kapalka, who's one of the founders of the company, he sent me an email saying that, you're kidding, but actually there really is a story behind Bejeweled and why you as a player are playing. The voice, the guy who's going, excellent, and all that, he's actually a character in the fiction of Bejeweled who's training you to do these things for some reason.
What?
And the really obnoxious thing of me telling you this is like, I'm not allowed to tell you what it is.
What?
I know.
No.
You're tearing me
This is
apart,
NDA?
Jeff.
I know. I've already said that PopCap hates you, and I don't know what else I've said. So I'm probably already out of a job as it is.
Yeah.
So,
Now, can you
so
give
what
us some hints?
What I shouldn't do is hints. Well, there's the whole sci-fi thing.
Susan from The Escapist is asking if that has any relation to Diamond Mine.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
But hi, Susan.
Okay.
So, will we know the backstory when it comes to fruition?
When
the movie is.
When the movie comes out.
Step 4 is profit.
The thing is, Bejeweled Blitz already has a better story than the Transformers movies. So
Everything does.
Well, I mean, years ago, when Loading Ready Run was in its infancy, Paul and I were always big fans of the, I guess not really webcomic, but I think it's only online now, of Bob the Angry Flower.
Oh. Yeah.
And Steve Notley for some years now has worked for PopCap, and working on some of the in-game fiction. Like, didn't he do the characters for Peggle and such?
Steve Notley, he's a hilarious, amazing guy. He's worked at PopCap for years, and most of all of the, not all of it, but a great deal of the writing in all of our games comes from Steve. So that kind of goofy, slightly off-kilter sense of humor that you see in everything comes a lot from him. And in fact, we don't link to it on popcap.com, but he actually keeps a blog run by Bjorn, the unicorn from Peggle. And that's been going on for quite a long time, and it's really a great read. I think you could probably just Google search it. So speaking of fiction, there's a whole Peggle universe fiction that Steve Notley himself writes. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So this is a little uncomfortable because the horrible AT&T problem that your
Yeah.
your call has run sort of late, and
No worries.